Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Greg, and welcome back to the Grilling to
Mhm.
Get Away podcast. And we have a special guest here with us today, Dina, who has a new book, Pizza on a Plank. So, Dina, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, we're excited. This is a great topic. You know, we do pizza all the time, but I love the recipes and how in depth you go, and the pizza on a plank is totally different. We haven't done that before, so we're excited to talk to you more about that.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about it because it's definitely different.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think we'll start with kind of asking, how did you develop the process or kind of come about like putting pizza on a plank on a grill?
So I started plank grilling about 20 years ago. My brother had a plank manufacturing business, and a lot of his customers were asking him, can you help me figure out how to even use this? I got this a gift, and I don't even know how to use it. And a lot of people associate plank grilling with salmon, so they've
Yeah,
heard of
yeah.
cedar plank salmon.
Hmm.
And he wanted to come up with other ways to use a plank. So I started writing recipes that use planks, not just cedar planks, but other planks as well. And I started writing pizza recipes, and this is my fourth cookbook on plank grilling. And this is probably my favorite one because plank grilled pizzas are not just my favorite, but it turns out my husband's and my friends and my family's, because my house is full of people eating plank grilled pizza.
That's a that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I gotta know, was the first one that you ever did, was it a success or was it like, ooh, we gotta go back to the drawing board on this?
It was actually a success. It's
Good.
not
Okay.
that hard. It's
Good. Okay, we'll see.
yeah, it's really good. I don't, have you guys ever tried plank grilling?
We've both done stuff with planks, like you mentioned, like the salmon and stuff like that. But like, it's never even crossed my mind to do a pizza like this on a plank, and which I think is awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I started, I did things like meatloaf and pork chops, and I made my own bacon on a plank. I've
Wow.
tried all kinds of things. So it wasn't that far-fetched to
Mhm.
go from salmon to pizza. I did other things in between. But then once I tried pizza, I knew I hit something really good because it tasted like a wood-fired pizza that I'd ordered from a restaurant. It had the flavor and texture of that, smoky, chewy, charred goodness of a wood-fired pizza. That smoke and flavor from the wood and the smoke infuses the food, and it just tasted amazing. And it came from my barbecue, it came from my grill. And that was such a wonderful, good new cooking technique that I really wanted to share it in a book.
Yeah, so that sounds amazing already. I'm hungry for some pizza. So like if somebody's starting off and just trying this for the first time, and maybe I've never done like plank grilling before, what would be some of your tips for somebody to convert like their gas grill or charcoal grill to being able to make some great pizza?
So, first of all, planks can be readily found anywhere now. When I first started plank grilling, it was hard to find planks, but I live in Northern California and I can find them in my local grocery store. So you can either go to Costco or Home Depot or online on Amazon. You can find planks, and sometimes they come in multi-pack. So if you're not sure what kind of wood, try getting a multi-pack, and they come in alder, cedar, maple, cherry, hickory, try all kinds of woods, see what you like. The woods I tried for the book are maple, alder, and cedar. Those are my favorite, maple, alder, and cherry. Those are the three woods that I like the most with pizzas. But flavor is subjective. Try your own, see what you like. Always soak your planks, otherwise they will incinerate if you put them
Mhm.
on dry. Soak your planks for at least 1 to 2 hours, and then put them on over the flame and flip them a few times because they tend to warp. So flip them a few times until they flatten out, and then you want to put your dough on, let it grill for like 4 or 5 minutes. You don't want to put your toppings on right away because then your dough will get soggy. Put your toppings on, let those grill for another 4 to 5 minutes, and then you've got your amazing pizza.
That sounds
One,
simple.
actually, one last tip. I've been plank grilling for now almost 20 years. Have a water bottle
There you go.
or a hose close by. I still catch my planks on fire. And honestly, it's not a big deal. I think the idea of putting wood over a flame is intimidating and scares people. It really shouldn't. It's just take a water bottle, douse it, and continue. It's not a big deal.
That's a
It's
great tip.
very easy. Yeah.
So you kind of mentioned like the different kinds of planks that you use for this. And in the book, you talk about like cedar planks, which is probably the most popular and like easiest to find, right? But you said it's a little too sweet. How much of the flavor do you feel like really the pizzas pick up from the type of plank or flavor that you're using?
Lot,
Okay.
especially if it's a strong wood.
Mhm.
Hickory is a strong wood, cedar is a strong wood, oak is a strong wood. Those really impart flavors into your food. And so for pizzas, I found them too strong for me.
Okay.
Flavor is so subjective that I feel like I don't want to tell you you shouldn't do it. It's up to you. For me, I just found like I couldn't enjoy the pizza and the ingredients and the toppings because all I tasted was cedar or
Mhm.
and I really wanted to taste the whatever the ingredients were.
Yeah.
So I found that my favorite woods were the cherry and the maple and the alder. Um, but each person can choose their own and find I love the experimentation. Pizzas are a canvas, and that's a great thing about pizzas is that you can open your refrigerator, find what you want to make, and take a recipe and substitute. Like I have a Peking duck pizza in the book. If you don't like duck or you have leftover rotisserie chicken, substitute the duck for your leftover chicken, or that's what you can do with pizza. It's a canvas.
Yeah, that's a great piece of advice because I do have a question about one of the recipes. You have like a salmon and kale pizza with like a coconut rum glaze in there. That sounds pretty wild. So how did you land on that combination? And then what kind of other tips do you have for people that look to experiment, with making their own?
I, I wake up at 2 in the morning and oftentimes go, I would love to try this combination. And I have a notepad by my bed and I just start writing a rum glaze with some coconut and jalapenos and salmon and I'll just write ingredients. And the next day I'll write out the recipe. And then I just start experimenting with putting that combination and making it and seeing how it goes. Sometimes it works out, and sometimes, I turn the page and come up with something else.
Sure.
But I had to include a salmon pizza. One, because I'm plank grilling and people associate salmon with plank grilling. Two, this is a phenomenal pizza, by the way. The combination of ingredients is really delicious. It's very, very good. Um, and I'm an adventurous eater. So while my husband's typically famous favorite pizza is a pepperoni and cheese,
Mhm.
I like more adventurous, foods and dishes. And those are, that's a boring pizza for me personally. I want something more adventurous. And so I tended to write pizzas that had a little bit more adventurous in cuisines. But there is a pizza in there that is a pickle pizza.
Yeah.
And, when I was researching pizzas, there's a restaurant in Minnesota that has this pickle pizza that went viral. I think it had like millions of views on it. And it's just a simple sliced pickles with Canadian bacon and some cream, dill sauce. And so I put my version of it in the book. And it's got a garlic cream sauce with mozzarella and sliced pickles and fresh Parmesan cheese. I'm telling you, it's one of the best pizzas in the book. It sounds weird. It sounds like it shouldn't work. On paper, it shouldn't work, but it tastes amazing. And
Yeah.
plain grilled with the flavor of the smoke and the wood, it's amazing. It's really, really good.
Well, my kids love pickles, so I'm gonna have to try that one out.
Yeah.
It's
I'll be honest,
good.
like one of the best parts that I loved about the book was you talk, like even right now talking about, you're making multiple pizzas, right? And like the fact that you put in here that you can use a plank multiple times. Because let me tell you, the big guy's cheap. So we appreciate that. Like, we like to reuse as much as we can. So that's awesome.
I'm cheap too. And I use my planks until they fall apart. So I made
Awesome.
pizzas 4, 5, 6 times with one plank. And if I couldn't use it, right, I would make them all at one time. But if I didn't need to use them all at one time, I would just rinse it, store it in my freezer, bring it back out, use it again until it crumbled, and then I would crumble it, use it as chips, wood
Yep.
chips,
Heck yeah.
until it completely was gone. So I totally get that. Um, and yeah, I don't want to, just use it and toss it. It has to have multiple uses. So I agree.
Yeah, that's great, and that's a great tip too, to continue to use it till it's all gone and use it as wood chips as well. Um,
Right.
so Dina, where can our followers find you, socials, and where can they find a copy of the book as well?
So you can go to Amazon and purchase a book. It's called Pizza on a Plank. And I'm not on social, but if you go
Okay.
to Amazon, you will find the book there.
Sure, sure. Yeah, and we'll make it sure to post a link to that in the show notes so folks can go and find it and purchase the book. Obviously, support you. But we'll ask you one last question before we have to let you go. Um, what was the biggest grilling disaster you've had with a plank in your time in doing experiments and researching?
A grilling disaster. I don't know if you call catching the plank on fire a disaster.
It's good enough.
I
Yeah.
think I think most people would. I will tell you that's probably the biggest obstacle I find when people hear that you put a plank over fire. Like it doesn't make sense, and it sounds intimidating and overwhelming. And I get that. It does sound intimidating, but it's water. Water is your answer. It's your solution. Just have water close by. And once you douse it, you can start again. And actually, your pizza tastes better when it has that flavor of wood and charcoal. You just
Mhm.
put your pizza back on a charred piece of wood, you close the lid, and you start again, and it works. It still tastes good, if not better.
That's that's great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, because I think people like to know that you can start over and do it again. Don't get discouraged.
Don't
But
get
again,
discouraged.
yeah,
And my
Dina, thank
book
you.
has all the tips you need to get going.
It does. It's great.
Yeah.
It breaks it down really. If someone like me could do it, so we really appreciate that. And Dina, we thank you so much for your time to come on to the podcast, and for talking about grilling pizza. And that's something that's near and dear to our hearts.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Thank you.